Hey guys, thank you for stopping here. My name is Sugoroku and please call me Roku for short. I am now exploring Japan off to all the 47 prefectures and I've been exploring Osaka for the past months, especially focusing on World Expo that will be held until the mid-October this year. But I've also explored the city as well. Whenever I visit a new city, I try to understand the city's history because I believe that what we are seeing now has been shaped by the history. So this time when I visited Osaka, I visited a place called Osaka History Museum. That's where I deepened my understanding about the history of Osaka. So in this video, I'd like to share the knowledge that I gained there, as well as sharing the real footages that I shot while exploring the Osaka, because it's going to add more reality to the content. The history of Osaka actually dates back to more than 1,000 years ago, but I will try to explain step by step, so you don't have to have prior knowledge to this. Also, Osaka has been the center of Japan in terms of the politics, economy, religion, and the culture. So, if you look at the history of Osaka, I think it's safe to say that you will understand not just about the Osaka's history, but also the history of Japan as a nation. By the way, I'm now in one of the shrines in Osaka that played a really important part in its history. I'm gonna share where this is later. So, this is the contents that I'm going to talk about. Okay, let's start. Prehistoric to Kofun period, from first settlements to giant burial mounds. So, in its history, people have been living in Osaka area for thousands of years. Archaeological evidence shows human settlement dating back to Paleolithic period over 30,000 years ago, with the countless development through Jomon and the Yayoi periods. But it was Kofun period starting from 3rd century that Osaka became a truly a center of power. This was when powerful clans built massive burial mounds called Kofun. In southern Osaka's Sakai city stands one of the world's largest burial mounds called Emperor Nintoku's tomb, called Daisen Kofun. This gigantic keyhole-shaped tomb is 486 meters long and was built in the early 5th century. It was considered one of the 3 great tombs in the world, alongside Egypt's Great Pyramid of Khufu and China's mausoleum of first Qin Emperor. Built overlooking the Osaka Bay, the Emperor Nintoku's tomb was a symbol of the Yamato Kingdom's power, the ancient ruling dynasty that controlled much of Japan from this region. Most recently, in 2019, the Mozu Furuichi Kofun group, including Emperor Nintoku's tomb, became a UNESCO's World Heritage Site, officially recognizing Osaka's ancient historical importance to the world. Asuka and the Nara period, birth of Japan's first international city. Next comes the Asuka and the Nara periods, which were from 6th to 8th century. This was when Japan was building itself into a unified nation with new laws and the government system. In the mid-6th century, Prince Shotoku built Sengoku Temple, which was actually the first major Buddhism temple in Japan, which played a great role in spreading Buddhism throughout the nation. He also established a system called Shikain no Sei, which is the 4 institution systems, which included the Keidenyin, it's the place for worship. Hidenyin, it's a place for helping the poor. Seiyakuin, place for healing the sick. Ryobyoin, it's a place for medical care. So it was like the first welfare system in Japan. So the Buddhism became not merely just a religion, but it became the part of daily life. Then during the mid-7th century, after the government reform called the Taika no Kaishin, which took place in 645 AD. Actually, the first imperial palace was built, which was called Naniwa-no-miya, Naniwa Palace, which was built in this Osaka. That's actually the place where emperor executed politics. And then he actually made this place as a capital, so which was even before the Nara and the Kyoto's capital existed. So why build the capital here? It was because of the perfect location. So the Osaka at the time was natural harbor where ships from Seto Inland Sea could easily dock, so which was playing a great role as a gateway for diplomacy with Korea and China. Back then, Osaka Bay looked completely different from what it is now because of the rising sea level. Most of the present-day Osaka was covered by an inland sea called Kawachi Bay. The Uemachi Plateau was stuck out like a peninsula, and the Naniwa Palace was truly an international coastal city. However, the capital moved to Nara in 710 and to Kyoto 794. Because of that, Naniwa Palace gradually declined. However, port city DNA and international character of Osaka was actually born at the time. Heian, Kamakura and Muromachi periods, rise of merchant spirit. Then the Heian period was when the aristocratic culture flourished, and the Kamakura period was the first samurai government, and then also Muromachi period, which was ruled by Muromachi shogunate. During this long medieval period, a revolutionary system emerged from the temple towns around the Sennoji, which was called Za, which meant trading guilds. That were like a trade unions where people doing the same kind of business worked together. They were protected by the temples and shrines. Powerful temples like Shitennoji and Sumiyoshi Taisha, which are actually the shrine where I am now, gave the special trading right, and in return, the donated money and labor to the temples and shrines. So this mutual beneficial system controlled the quality and the prices of the product of the developing commerce. So this system actually laid the foundation of Osaka as a city of merchant, Shonin no Machi, Osaka. So as I mentioned, I am now in the place called Sumiyoshi Taisha, which was one of the most powerful shrines in this Osaka. And then there are about 2,000 Sumiyoshi shrines in Japan, but this is like a headquarters of all of those shrines. So Sumiyoshi Jinja is a type of shrine that has been regarded as a guardian of sea. So many people came here for voyage of sea and also trading. And then you can see these stone lanterns. It's said that there are more than 600 stone lanterns in this shrine. And then these ones were actually donated by the merchants as they have the inscriptions of the names of the merchants. Most of them were actually made during the Edo period, but some were said to have built during the medieval period. So those names are the precious evidence of their prosperity. Speaking of names, this is when Osaka got its current name. Originally, it was written like this and read as Osaka, meaning small slopes due to its hilly terrains. And in 1496, the Buddhist monk Rennyo renamed it like this when he built his temple here. And centuries later, during the Edo period, people start to dislike this Chinese character because when it's broken down, it's read as Tsuchi ni kaeru, meaning returning to earth or soil turning over, which was associated with death and misfortune. So this is why the Chinese character changed from like this to avoid the negative connotation. And the temple that Rennyo built actually will soon become the center of the next chapter's dramatic story. Hello. Sengoku and Azuchi-Momoyama periods, from religious city to political city. So the Sengoku period was a warring state where regional lords fought each other. And then Azuchi-Momoyama period is when three most popular and famous samurai lords unified nation. You might have heard these names. They are Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu. During the time, massive religious power ruled Osaka, which was Ishiyama Honganji. So during the long medieval period, there were actually wars and natural disasters that shocked traditional authorities, and merchants and farmers were frustrated with aristocratic and samurai rules. So that's when Jodo Shinshu Buddhism appeared. Jodo Shinshu Buddhism was actually started by Shinran during Muromachi period, which split from Jodo Shu, which was founded by Honen in Heian period. While traditional Buddhism emphasized strict training and scholarships, Pure Land Buddhism sect taught simply chanting Nembutsu, prayers, would save you through Amida Buddha, which was easier and more accessible to common people. Also, Pure Land Buddhism sect taught Akunin Shoki, which means the salvation of able people. This was a revolutionary message of salvation, especially those who were suffering from the class system. It also permitted priests to marry and let ordinary believers to become monto, followers of the religious community. Also, the Ishiyama Honganji, the headquarters of Jodo Shinshu, was actually built magnificent temple town on the Motomachi Plateau, where the Osaka Castle stands today. They collected taxes from followers nationwide and created their own economic system. And the followers created lands held by farmers without samurai's control, which led to armed uprisings called Ikkoiki. So Ishiyama Honganji wasn't just a religious facility, it was a massive independent power combining religion, economics, and military force, which threatened regional lords. And Oda Nobunaga actually fought this Ishiyama Honganji for 10 years, and at the end, the temple withdrew, and later on, Toyotomi Hideyoshi actually built Osaka Castle on the exact spot. Then Hideyoshi started transforming Osaka into a hub of Japan, with a concentric city planning centering Osaka Castle, where samurai lives around the castle, merchants lived in outer areas. He also skillfully used moats and rivers to create water transportation network. So this was indeed the urban planning at its finest. Using the foundation built by Ishiyama Honganji's religious city, Hideyoshi made Osaka not just a castle town, but Japan's political and economic center. The urban framework built during this period became the foundation of modern Osaka. However, the glorious Toyotomi clan ended in the winter and the summer sieges of Osaka in 1614 and 15, and the Tokugawa Ieyasu destroyed the Toyotomi's Osaka castle and built a new one upon it. Edo period, golden age of Tenka no Daidokoro, the kitchen of the world. Okay, then the Edo period, So the Edo period is known for its peaceful time of 260 years under the Tokugawa shogunate. During the time, a class-based samurai society was established and unique Japanese culture flourished under its isolationist policy. During this era, Osaka transformed into Japan's largest commercial city, earning the nickname Tenka no Daidokoro, the kitchen of the world. Kurayashiki, domain warehouses from provinces across Japan, lined up in Nakanoshima area. At its peak, there are more than 110 kurayashiki, with rice market being especially active. Especially, the Dojima rice market had an interesting route. The trading started when the smoke signal appeared, and trading ended when it disappeared. Also, until then, they are trading for real rice, but people in Osaka were so passionate about the businesses, they started talking about the rice that will be produced in the future. So they started exchanging kitte, which is promissory notes. So this is said to be the first futures trading in the world, which was 100 years ahead of Chicago Board of Trade. As the economy flourished, the culture flourished too. Kabuki and ningyo jewelry later became bunraku, thrived too, and merchant culture flourished. Osaka's kamigata culture was very different from Edo's samurai culture. It was practical and sophisticated merchant culture. While being sharp about money, they valued human relationships and developed a spirit that emphasized laughter. The storytelling arts that became rakugo as well as government culture called kuidaore, meaning eating yourself to bankruptcy, all blossomed during this time. So Osaka became a cultural hub alongside Kyoto and Edo, nurturing this unique kamigata culture. But in the late Edo period, Osaka faced a great trial. In 1854, a great Ansei earthquake struck. The magnitude 8.4 earthquake devastated Osaka. Building collapsed, fires broke out, tsunamis hit, claiming many lives, destroying properties. The commercial centers of Senba and Dojima were severely damaged, temporarily paralyzing the kitchen of the world. However, recovery power of Osaka's merchants were amazing. They just rebuilt the city in just a few years. This experience later helped them overcome the turbulent Meiji Restoration period. So Osaka prospered throughout the Edo period, but this stable era was just about to face a history-changing event. Bakumatsu and the Meiji period, turbulent times and modernization challenge. So Bakumatsu means the end of Edo period, specifically referring to the turbulent period when the Tokugawa shogunate ended. And the Meiji period was when Japan transformed into a modern nation. In 1853, Commander Perry's fleet appeared at Uraga, Kanagawa prefecture, forcing Japan to reconsider its isolationist policy. The reason why the Perry from the US came to Japan is because they wanted to use Japan as a port to fish whales in the seas around Japan. Also, they wanted to advance to Asia, specifically wanting to trade with China. This foreign pressure destabilized the shogunate system and eventually led to the Meiji Restoration. The Meiji Restoration put Osaka in serious trouble. The Edo period economic system completely collapsed. The Meiji government abolished the kurayashiki system and temporarily closed the Dojima rice market. They also dissolved the Kabu Nakama, the merchant guilds. The rice distribution system disappeared, and Osaka merchants lost their economic foundation overnight. Additionally, when the capital moved to Tokyo, Osaka became a political backwater. Having just recovered from a great Ansei earthquake, Osaka now faced an existential crisis due to the fundamental political and economic system changes. That's when the savior came. His name is Godai Tomoatsu. This Satsuma-born businessman worked tirelessly to revive Osaka's economy, which was described as being on the verge of collapse. He built the Mint Bureau and Osaka Arsenal, founded Osaka Chamber of Commerce. Through Godai's efforts, Osaka regained its position as an economic center. The Mint Bureau not only manufactured coins, but also developed the chemical industries like sulfuric acid, soda, and coal gas production, which later became the foundation for Osaka's later development of chemical industry. Taisho and the early Showa period, becoming the Manchester of the East. The Taisho period saw the democratic trend called Taisho democracy, and the early Showa period was when Japan turned toward militarism. From the late Meiji to Taisho period, Osaka developed tremendously as an industrial city centering on textile manufacturing, earning the nickname Manchester of the East. With special demand from wartime period from World War I, not only textile but also chemical and heavy industries rapidly expanded. In 1925, surrounding cities and villages merged together to create Greater Osaka with a population of 2.1 million people, surpassing Tokyo's, becoming the largest city of Japan. Osaka during this time was truly at cutting edge, leading to Japan's industrial revolution. The modern factory complexes developed transportation networks and a vibrant commercial district. The prototype of modern Osaka was completed around this time. war and recovery, rising like a phoenix. However, the dark clouds of World War II approached. As Osaka played a crucial role as a center of military industry, it became a target of intense bombing. From 1944 to 1945, Osaka suffered from major air-to-air raids, with about 50% of urban areas destroyed. Even Osaka Castle was damaged by bombing. Many citizens lost their lives, and Osaka was literally reduced to ashes. But Osaka rose like a phoenix. The post-war recovery was remarkable. With the indomitable spirit of Osaka merchants and government support, Osaka recovered to pre-war levels by 1950s. During the high economic growth period, they regained its position as an economic center. Modern era leaped to international city and entertainment capital. So the modern era spans post-war recovery and high economic growth and increasing internationalization. In 1970s, the Japan's first World Expo was held in Osaka. 77 countries participated and 64 million people attended. So this expo made Osaka internationally renowned city once again. And speaking of Osaka in modern times, it also developed as an entertainment capital. Yoshimoto Kogyo's comedy culture spread nationwide through TV media, and Osaka became beloved as a city of laughter. The Kamigata culture's tradition of emphasizing laughter from the Edo period blossomed into modern comedy, with steady development followed, including the opening of Kansai International Airport. And in 2015, the Osaka metropolitan area's population surpassed 10 million. It became Japan's second largest metropolitan area after Tokyo. So today, Osaka is entering a new era with this year's Osaka Kansai Expo and the development of IR facilities on Umeshima Island. Osaka's development continues unabated, always staying at the forefront from the ancient times to the present. So that's about it. It's like a very quick overview of the history of Osaka. So how did you think about it? Please leave a comment if you liked it. I am also going to make more videos about exploring Osaka, as well as visiting World Expo. So if you have someone around you interested in Japan or Osaka, please share this video. So thank you so much for watching to the end. Alright, have a great day. Bye-bye. See you again. Please let me know how you thought about the video. And if you like it, please share it with your friends and family.